everyone. Many of y'all out there obviously had several questions about what is the minimum salary requirements for any healthcare role? Can care workers still get their dependents? What is the minimum level of salary that you need in order to apply for an health and care worker visa? And what is going to happen when the health and care worker visa needs to get renewed? If any of these questions are on your mind, then this video is for you because I will be decoding exactly what do the April updates mean for health and care professionals. But also what I will be doing is giving you exact resources on where I found this information and how it can impact you. But before we move ahead, my name is Nikita and I make videos about HCPC registration, landing those jobs, completing good interviews, and finally getting your work visa in the UK. Now, if any of this is of interest to you, do not forget to follow me on Instagram. My handle is Physiotherapy in UK, and drop me a subscribe on YouTube. So let's get into the details. So as you can see on your screens right there, this is a website called the NHS Employers, and it is one of the websites which is obviously followed quite a bit in the UK. Now, if you just scroll down, you can see that these are some of the impact to the changes in the UK immigration policy. And what it goes on to say is on 4th of October 2023, the UK government announced changes to the immigration system that have taken effect from March to April 2024. Now, if you are concerned about what are these changes and what are these that are exactly going to be implemented and when is it going to come into action, do not forget to check out my YouTube channel because there are several videos on this topic. But for today's video, I just want to point out some of the key policy changes and how it is going to impact you if you are planning to come to the UK as a healthcare professional in 2024 or 2025. So as you can see over there, they have said that obviously the latest announcement can be found on the gov.uk website. I'll again leave the link for that in the description below. But as you can see right there, the first key point is that from March 11, 2024, care workers and senior care workers will not be allowed to get their dependents along with them. This is not a surprise, so we're not going to worry too much about it. But if we just scroll a little bit lower, you can see right there. Second point is that from 4th of April 2024 onwards, certificates of sponsorship issued for applications to the health and care worker route for those occupations paid by NHS bands will need to meet the national pay scale for their role or the new minimum salary threshold of 23,200, whichever is higher. This is an increase from 20,960. Now, let's clarify this a bit more. So, as you are all aware that as a part of increasing the minimum salary thresholds in the UK decided that any person who's landing a work visa in the UK needs to get a minimum salary of 38,700. Now, this is applied across all streams, whether it's IT, finance, engineering, or any other stream. But as you can see right there, for healthcare, this is what it says. You need to be paid at least your band level, which is your national pay scales. Which for a band 5 is somewhere between 28,000. For a band 6, it can be 32,000. And for a band 7, it's even higher. Or you need to be paid the minimum salary threshold of 23,200. Now at this stage, I just want to clarify this, that if any of y'all are confused about what is banding levels and what is the salary for those banding levels, I would highly recommend you check out this video. I'll leave the link for it somewhere above because it goes through all of the details and what are the pay progressions in the UK. However, please keep in mind that this video is quite old and the NHS right now is in talks of increasing the salaries for all of the NHS workers in the year 2024-2025. So as soon as those updates start rolling in, I will put out an updated video about it. But just as you can see right there, if you are band 5 level and above, you will still meet the minimum salary requirements that are required for health and care worker visa. Now, let's go to what happens if you are on a band 3 or a band 4 level. As you can see, the band 4 salary threshold is 25,147. So they are clearly meeting the minimum salary requirements of 23,200. So they will be offered a work visa, that is your health and care worker visa, if they are selected for the job. However, when you look at the band 3 salary threshold right there, it is 22,816. Now, because this is not the salary threshold that is agreed upon, which is 23,200, it's far lesser than that. Band 3 recruitment may be affected by these changes. That is, if you are coming on this salary, that is 22,816, you may not be recruited in the NHS with the health and care worker visa. Again, if you are on your PSW or dependent visa, you can completely apply for these roles because you do not need a visa to start work in the UK. But if you are looking for the health and care worker visa, that may not be sponsored for band 3s. However, one exemption to this rule is if you are getting a band 3 job in London. Because in that case, what happens is you will be given the London allowance or the London weighing allowance, which increases your salary by a couple of £1,000. And so then you might be able to cross this threshold of 23,200. So just in that unique situation, you will be exempt from this sort of special rule and you will be offered a visa sponsorship under the health and care worker route. Now, again, I hope this has made it clear, but if you still have further questions, let me know in the comment section below. And also maybe reach out to your HRs when they are offering you your contract letter or how giving you the go ahead to sort of start the process in order to get a job in the UK. Again, if you have questions about how long it takes you to get a job and things like that, do not forget to check out this entire playlist where I have described my exact timelines of landing my first job and going through all of the several checks and the recruitment requirements needed for me. But again, if you are struggling to land those interviews, feel free to book a one-to-one session with me and we can go over those job applications and discuss any further queries that you might have had. Moving on to the next point, which is roles that are not on the national pay scale will need to meet a general salary threshold of 29,000. This will apply to both new application and to extension of existing visas. Now again, the next update goes on to say that all health and care worker visa holders will be exempt from paying the immigration health surcharge. And the next point is that from the 4th of April 2024, certificates of sponsorship issued to overseas workers requiring general skilled worker, that is your data analyst, IT, finance professionals, but need to be sponsored by an NHS organization will need to meet the new salary threshold of 38,700. This will not be increased in stages. So as you can see right there, if you are on any of these professions, which is not healthcare specifically, but are being sponsored by an NHS trust, you will need to meet a minimum salary threshold of 38,700. However, like I've said before, if you fall under any of the healthcare background, you just need to meet the salary threshold of 23,000 or your general pay scale, which could be at a band 5 or a band 6 level. Next thing is that it says those who are already on a skilled worker visa before the immigration rules change should be exempt from the new salary thresholds when they change occupation or sponsor or settle, but their pay should progress in line with resident workers. Now, what this point is saying is basically, for example, you've come to the UK, say in 2021, and all of the previous rules have applied for you. If you are going to change your sponsor, you need to apply for a new work visa. But also, if you are going to be sort of applying for your ILR, or if you are going to sort of extend your visa, then all of the previous rules apply to you and you don't need to be worried about the increased salary thresholds. Now, moving on to the next point, it says that obviously from 4th of April 2024, the immigration salary list will replace the shortage occupation list. And obviously, occupations on the immigration salary list can be continued to be recruited on a salary below the general salary thresholds. These occupations will still need to meet a threshold of either 23,200 or 30,960 or their occupation specific threshold, whichever one is higher. Another key point to consider is, again, if you are applying under the health and care worker visa, you do not need to pay the immigration health surcharge. However, if you are not applying on this particular visa, you need to make sure that you know that the immigration health surcharge has now increased to 1,035 per person per year. So again, if you are going to be creating your visa for about 3 years, which is what is typically tending to happen in the UK, that is around 3,400 give or take pounds for your visa application that you have to pay in addition to the visa charges that covers your immigration health surcharge. Now, another point over there says that the minimum income requirement for family visas will rise in stages, starting from 29,000 from 11th April and incrementally increase to 34,500 and to 38,700 by early 2025. Only dependents that can be financially supported will be allowed into the UK. Now, just to clarify, family visa does not mean your dependent visa. Family visa is for those professionals who have already got their ILR or British citizenship and just want to get their families along with them into the UK, which is again just including your spouses and children. So it's not the dependent visa, it's the family visa. But as you can see right there, they are planning to increase those salary thresholds within smaller stages or smaller increments up to 2025, simply because they wish to ensure that people who are coming into the UK as family can be supported well enough by the healthcare professionals themselves and do not get access to sort of public funds or anything where the UK government needs to support them. That's it from today's video, guys. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments and don't forget to subscribe. Take care.